We know why you're here, you know why you're here, so let's skip the gushing introductions. Here is our breakdown of the new Mass Effect gameplay trailer just for you guys. Opening on a sweeping shot of an unknown planet's rings, we see our new ship the Tempest flying towards this new world under narration, calling the game a next generation of action RPG. This is followed by a shot of two helmeted characters, the former police officer Liam in the background, and apparently Sarah Ryder herself in the foreground, saying, yeah, no way this is home. Not exactly an I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore Toto moment, but that would be too on the nose anyways. As the narration continues, reiterating mostly known information about the role of the Pathfinder, we are treated to a montage of varying landscapes, all of which we can't wait to explore. Stormy wastelands, sweltering lava-filled basins, we simply can't wait to sink our teeth into these amazing looking environments. Then we get an exciting first look at the galaxy map system. Overall, it appears similar to that of the first Mass Effect game, with no ship on the screen, though the completion percentage shown at the top is a welcome carryover from the second two games. As the camera pans across the system identified as Gorvicom, an X button prompt shows up on the planet Kadara, leading us to believe that this is being shown on the PlayStation 4. Eagle-eyed viewers will also note the mission being highlighted on the planet M4 Hunting the Archon. Or is it Hunting the Archon? We'll find out. The planet is selected, and the Tempest goes in for a landing as the narrator explains how this planet sports factions warring over its dwindling resources, and how this is an opportunity to make allies, or possibly to make enemies. And here's where the true gameplay starts. We see Sarah Ryder disembarking alongside two squad mates, a male Krogan, and much to the delight of fans everywhere, a female Turian. Mac Walters confirmed on Twitter that the Krogan is indeed the infamous Drac that we've heard so much about, while the Turian's name is Vetra. Drac speaks first, sounding interestingly like a 1940s gangster.
Not too shabby for folk who got kicked off the station with nothing to show for it.
You may also notice his very tribal-looking armor, complete with bones of some sort lining his back. We wonder what this might mean for the state of the Krogan in the new galaxy. After a response from Ryder, the cutscene ends and we transition to a player-controlled segment showing brief exploration of the outpost. Ryder speaks over comms to someone named Sam, whom we are guessing is the ship's new AI or VI, based on its speech style and vocal qualities. Sam gives some background on the objective, a woman named Sloane Kelly. Take some time here to note Frida Wolf's excellent performance as Ryder. BioWare has definitely made an inspired decision on her part.
Nearly?
She was involved in multiple altercations with other officers.
A hothead. Great.
As this exposition plays out, you will see a bunch of new, unknown aliens all around. Some muscular, blue-looking folks stand out, but it is kinda hard to tell what they look like. And it is also hard to tell who else is around due to the camera movement, but we are fairly sure that we saw some good old Krogan, humans, Asari, and Turians sprinkled about. But let's step back a bit and take a minute to really absorb this place. At our first glimpse of it, you can already tell it's more than just some small colony. This is a fully established outpost, and it is big. Structures built into the cliff walls give it a real sense of cohesiveness and make it feel almost like a city. They make great use of the space, and we're talking about both the in-game builders and the real-world designers. In fact, it brings forth thoughts of the Star Wars universe. A few neon lights here and there conjure memories of places like Coruscant, the planet-wide city from Star Wars. That connection, whether intentional or not, does a lot to establish the setting, allowing the visuals to do the talking. You will also see various shops and the like all around. We don't see any prompts to interact with them, but it is likely that, at the very least, some of these folks in the shops might have a side mission or two for you in the final game. If you feel like taking the time to listen, they might even offer actual stores to buy upgrades and other things that you need. All we know is, hubs are cool, and we can't wait to explore this one and all the rest. Afterward, we are transported to another cutscene, showing our first glimpse of the dialogue system. As expected, the dialogue wheel is back, though this time it appears to be utilizing the icon system from Dragon Age Inquisition. This means each dialogue option will have a corresponding icon shown in the middle, which gives the player an idea for the tone. We imagine that this will help cut down on the ninja romance situations where you end up in a relationship without even realizing it. As Ryder converses with Miss Kelly, a Turian bodyguard approaches our hero with a pistol, and the new interrupt system is quickly shown. If you missed it, the system has been overhauled with the ambiguity of the Paragon and Renegade system being tossed out the window. This time, you get a simple button prompt along with an actual description of what will transpire if you take the interrupt. In this case, disarm. You will also notice a timer next to the prompt, which is another very helpful feature. Ryder disarms the Turian, taking the gun for herself, and, as you can imagine, diplomacy kind of flies away at this point. Many fans have taken note of the facial animations around this point of the trailer, saying that they seem kinda off. Ryder has a decidedly unnerving smile throughout that scene that honestly reminds us of one of the more infamous images of male Shepard. One way or another, however, the animations definitely seem much less stiff than they used to be, so we will see where they go from here. Now remember, the game is not finished yet, and we even got some reassurance on Twitter saying that the devs are still working on the animations. Anyway, after Ryder finishes showing off her people skills, the trailer cuts to some Nomad gameplay, and man, does it look fun. We obviously cannot speak from experience here, but just from the footage, the Nomad already appears to have much tighter controls than those of the Mako, and maybe even the Hammerhead. It looks like something out of Need for Speed, which is fitting, since the Need for Speed team was actually brought on as consultants during the new vehicle's development process. Up on the top left of the screen, part of the heads-up display shows 2 bits of information: current zone strength and toggle mining computer. As the Nomad ventures further into the environment, the zone strength is shown as depleted, suggesting that this will likely tie to the resource management system. So rather than launching probes from orbit, you've got to get up close and personal this time around. Speaking of scanning, we cut away from the Nomad after a short while to show Ryder using a data scanner to examine what appears to be a crime scene. As she speaks over comms to someone named Reese, she scans a Krogan corpse and some footprints. Whether or not this will be expanded to the same levels as something like the Witcher sense in the Witcher series is currently unknown, and we barely have any time to process that information before we're back in the Nomad approaching a combat scenario. And here is where things get cranked up to 11. The first thing you'll notice, well, is probably the shooting, but the first thing that we took notice of was the heads-up display. The design is very similar to that of Mass Effect 3, with a few key differences. In place of the squad-made portraits, you'll notice some simplified and much more stylized representations. On the left, you'll see your currently equipped weapon, along with your ammo and whatever effects are currently active. In this case, it appears to be incendiary ammo, later switching to disruptor ammo via the weapon wheel. Meanwhile, on the right side, we see the hotkeyed powers and abilities that we've recently heard about, which should make combat a much more fast-paced and intense experience. Just look at this battle. There is so much going on all at once. Rather than everyone taking a purely tactical approach, it is a real all-out skirmish. The dynamic cover system really seems to help ensure that both players and enemies don't rely on cover too much like they have in the earlier games. The fact that you don't stick to objects anymore encourages players to keep moving, and based on what we see here, it goes a long way in making combat look a lot more interesting. One thing that we took note of, and we were sure that you did too, was the increased verticality of combat thanks to the jetpack. Not only will you see Ryder blast into the air and launch a biotic charge, though let's not downplay how incredibly awesome that is, but at one point she also uses the charge to attack an enemy up on some kind of elevated guard post before using that post as cover against the other hostiles. Those with a sharp eye and a quick pausing skill will see that the enemy up on the post appears to be yet another new alien. Then there are the mechs, because of course there are mechs. Appearing very similar to the Atlas from Mass Effect 3, the Hydra proves to be a brawny opponent, but nothing a good tech combo can't handle. This results in a lovely looking explosion, which further shows off some really nice effects. After that hard racing experience, the narrator returns to introduce a look at some more exploration and customization. After watching what appears to be some kind of mobile crafting system landing in front of Ryder, we get a quick couple shots of armor customization system showing options for the helmet, chest, legs, and arms. Ryder is shown traversing the landscapes with the help of her jetpack, scanning here and there before being attacked by a large creature identified as a fiend. And fans of the Andromeda Nerds podcast might also recognize this as a space bear. Ryder fights it for a bit, occasionally encountering other beasts before being taken down by the giant fiend in a particularly brutal kill animation, one that involves teeth. This kicks off a combat montage that includes several situations. First, we see Ryder facing off against several humanoid enemies while utilizing some sort of tech-based cover. not to mention what appears to be an infinite beam-based weapon and armor-mounted flamethrower. And if you check the top right of the screen, you'll see that this is part of a loyalty mission for Vetra, our new Turian companion. Up next is a harrowing battle against Remnant forces, in a very cool looking environment filled with Remnant artifacts and fighting flying enemies called Observers. This one takes place during a mission for Peebee, everyone's new favorite raccoon-faced Asari. The mission title doesn't explicitly say it's her loyalty mission, so maybe each companion gets more than one exclusive quest, which that would be really cool. We see Ryder activate some sort of stealth ability in cover, which appears to be showing part of an outpost takeover. You will also notice the life support meter in the bottom left during the scene, which looks like it will add another dimension of strategy to an already intense battle. As the trailer draws to a close, we are bombarded by shot after shot of various battles, intercut with footage of the Tempest just doing spaceship stuff. We see some melee of several sorts, which appear to be more involved than Mass Effect 3's. We see ground slams, we see weapons shooting lightning, we see Ket enemies going by the names Anointed, Chosen, and Para, and all of those sound like it's going to be a barrel of fun to fight against. And then we close on Ryder being brutalized by a mech in another kill animation. The end slate showing the Tempest flying off, which still shows the release window of 2017. We are sure that you were expecting an exact release date, and so were we, but look at it this way. We were still pretty close to spring of 2017, at least relatively. So they wouldn't even say that much if they weren't pretty darn confident the game is still on track. Besides, even if it is delayed, wouldn't you rather wait a little longer for a more polished game? Either way, this gameplay video was amazing, and we are sure that you guys noticed some things that we missed. If so, let us know in the comments down below, and while you are there, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.